We're standing in front of the Caddy family plot. Who I'm going to talk about is John Herbert Caddy, who's over there on the ground. His stone has been broken and it's laying flat now. John Herbert Caddy was born in Quebec City. During the War of 1812, he was positioned in Amherstburg, and his father sent him to the academy in England to follow in his footsteps as an engineer for the British. When he gets there, he shows an excellent talent as an artist. An engineer needed the talent as an artist so that he could produce the maps and the charts and the sketches of the ports, the forts, and where they were stationed around the world. John was sent to St. Lucia, and he starts writing a diary. He also becomes very fluent at writing things and books. He writes a book on his experiences when he was stationed in St. Lucia. Then he moves around a little bit in the Caribbean, and he ends up at British Honduras, and British Honduras is Belize today. The Americans show up, and they tell Caddy that they are on a mission, an expedition, to find all the Mayan sites on the Yucatan Peninsula in Mexico. Belize is close to the Yucatan, but it's now a colony of the British called British Honduras. So what they do is they go off to Chichen Itza, which is in the north, and tell Caddy that they are going to be coming down to visit all the sites, including Palenque. So at that point, Walker and Caddy put their heads together and say, let's beat the Americans to the lost city of Palenque. They set up their own expedition, go through the jungle, and Caddy writes his whole expedition on paper. They get to Palenque, and Caddy is the very first white man to sketch the images of the Mayan ruins. They find it and discover it first. They stay there for a week, and he does detailed imaging of the lost city of Palenque. They come back to Belize, and they leave a Mexican child there with a box of cigars. And when the Americans show up, it's a gift to them saying, na 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 na, we beat you first. The Americans say, we went to Palenque, but the Caddy Walker expedition beat us there. All my life, I believed that the Americans were the ones that found the lost city of Palenque. I don't know why, but it was told to me, or was in books. Only when I discovered that Caddy was the one that did it, we now have the first man to sketch the lost city of Palenque. What happens is that he's demoted for doing that, and the results of his expedition never gets published, and that's why I thought the Americans found it first. And the reason for that is because he did not ask permission to set up the expedition by the British to do that. So he's demoted, the expedition is squashed, the information is squashed, and he is demoted to a desert island in the Mediterranean called Malta. He comes back to Canada, and he becomes the engineer for London, Ontario's water works and sewers. And then he comes to Hamilton. He paints all these scenes of Hamilton in the 1840s and 50s, and this was pre-photography, and those become historical images for what Hamilton looked like before the people started taking photographs of the scenery. He continues to do all his work here in Hamilton, and what we find, he does waterfalls, he goes all over the place doing all these imaging, he canoes everywhere, he does all the waterfalls, and he becomes famous here in Hamilton. But how he gets famous in the world is that in 1857 he sketches the Desjardins rail disaster on paper, and that goes to the London Illustrated News and becomes an international artist. He's known for his artistry. What he's not known for is being the man who found the lost city of Palenque. So what we have here in the Hamilton Cemetery is the Indiana Jones of Hamilton.